I'm Cheng. I lived in Venice since the late 69, 68. A lot of water's gone under the bridge, but there's one thing I've always loved about Venice. First of all, it's an urban center by the ocean. Wow, just that is a lot. But even bigger than that, or equally than that, is the fact that Venice is kind of like a cultural hotbed of creativity and artists and designers, and they all kind of flock here some way or another, and things come out. And there's many, I imagine, thousands of creative incidences that happen through Venice we'd never even know about, and here is one. I used to make films, and I still make films, but in this particular instance, it was in the late 1970s, and I was shooting this very surreal film called White in Bad Light. And in this one part that we were shooting, a man gets into a traffic accident, smashes through the windshield, and flies away like a bird. And then after timeless moments, he lands on his feet unhurt to help clean up the mess he made in his traffic accident. Anyway, that's one sequence. So I lived right on the corner of Hampton Drive and Sunset Avenue. It's just right behind what's Gold's Gym now. So living there had been a couple of accidents right on that corner, so I was considered a real expert on how accidents look and feel on that corner. So in my thing, I had to stage this traffic accident, so I had a friend who had a beat up car, and then I went around, and lucky me, I could find debris from past accidents, so I had a few boxes full of like broken glass parts, chrome parts, and everything that was as precious as gold to me, because in guerrilla filmmaking, especially back in those days, you just wing it and you just do it, and it has to happen or it doesn't happen. So anyway, I was so happy to have 2 boxes of debris which I strewn about, and then I staged the car as much out into the open street as I could, and then traffic could still go around. And of course, in the true tradition of guerrilla art making, there was no permits. Shh, don't tell anybody. Anyway, we were just winging it. So I had a friend, Hugh, who looks very prominent and everything, and we dressed him in cop costume, and he crammed all his hippie hair into the big helmet, and he actually kind of looked like a cop. And I don't know how it happens, but back in those days, I was able to go into Paramount, and through some talking here and there, and next thing I know, I'm driving out what they call a black and white. That were cop cars that they loan out to filmmakers. I didn't have to, I signed something, but that was about it. They didn't check my credentials or anything, so don't ask too many questions. Now I'm driving away in that black and white car, and then there's no decals that you're not allowed to put in until at the film shoot. So now at the film shoot, everything was all set up. That decals were slapped onto the doors to protect and to serve, and then we had in the shot, what happens is Hugh, that actor, had to survey the traffic accident, size it up, hear a crackling report from the cop car telling him to go to another place. He slaps on the siren on top of the car, magnetic, on the roof, and then he jumps in and then roars away. That was the shot. So we got it all set up, and in this kind of filmmaking, it's like one-shot deals before the cops come and get you. So he looked at the traffic accident, he sized it up, he hears a crackling sound on the thing, which we would fake in and put in later, of course. He slaps on that siren thing on top of his roof, jumps in the car, and roars off. Perfect shot, we got it, it was perfect. And then he goes around the block, and we're all late until he comes around. But in the profound fecundity of Venice, that one cop car reproduced into 2. Oh my God, the second one was a real cop car, and he had just pulled up on the side, right inside, and he was ready to do backup, and says, what's your number? And it was high urgency, how cops are. And then meanwhile, Hugh says, wait, I'm just an actor. And he took off his mask, and all his hippie hair came down. Now the cops are really suspicious. And so they got out kind of slow, unbuckling their little baton thing. And they go, what's going on here? And he was saying, that guy, I'm just the actor. So I'm running out from behind the camera, like, yikes, trying to size up the situation, find something important to say so that I can defray this thing. So I go up there, oh, sir, no, it's just a student film. Student film, huh? And he's sizing it up with a cold eye of a lizard practically. Yeah, where's your permit? I said, oh, no permit. It's just a student film. It's just a student film. I go to UCLA, a lie. But anyway, I go to UCLA and I'm doing this student film and it's just no big deal. It's really not worth your time. And he said, yeah, but you still have to have a permit. And then I said, no, but it's just a little film. And he said, yeah, what kind of film? An anti-cop film? And back in those days, cops and hippies weren't exactly the best friends. And I said, oh, no, dear officer, I would never do something like that. This is about the all-American death. Yeah, what could that be? And I said, oh, the traffic accident. I said it with so much triumphant glee that he kind of was startled, and he looked at his buddy. The buddy looked back at him. Okay. And just then, on his car radio, crackled out this important thing. Then he had to jump into the car, so he slapped on his little siren, just like in my film. Slapped it on the roof. He jumped in the car and he just roared off. I mean, if I wasn't in the way and the camera was rolling, that could have been part of the film. But anyway, life being what it is, he soared off, and I kept thinking, wow, life imitates art. And then I was so glad that they went off. I was a free man again. But of course, in the pressures of filmmaking, my mind was already thinking about the next shot, which, how do you get this guy to be flying, hurtling through the air and landing on his feet? But then it's another story.